Chapter 3 continuing. Soon he lay completely limp and still. The young dog became frantic now. He whined as he stretched at the edge of the rut, then nudged and pushed with his nose, doing everything in his power to rouse the huddled, unresponsive body. Again and again he barked, and the cat growled softly and continuously, walking back and forth and rubbing his whole length against the dirty, muddied head. There was no response to their attention. The old dog lay, unconscious and remote. The two animals grew silent and sat by his side, disturbed and uneasy, until at last they turned and left him, neither looking back. The Labrador disappearing into the bushes, where the crack of broken branches marked his progress farther and farther away. The cat, stalking a partridge which had appeared at the side of the trail some 100 yards away, and was pecking unconcernedly at the sandy dirt. But at the shrill warning of a squirrel, it flew across the trail with a sudden whir into the trees, while the cat was still some distance away. Undaunted, still licking his lips in anticipation, the cat continued around a bend in the trail in search of another and was lost to sight. The shadows lengthened across the deserted track, and the evening wind sighed down it to sweep a flurry of whispering leaves across the rut, their brown brittleness light as a benson as they drifted across the unheeding white form. The curious squirrel peered in bright-eyed wonder from a nearby tree, clucking softly to itself. A shrew ran halfway across, paused, and ran back, and there was a soft sound of wings as a whiskey jack landed and swayed to and fro on a birch branch, tilting his head to one side as he looked down and called to his mate to come and join him. The wind died. A sudden hush descended. Suddenly, there was the sound of a heavy body pushing through the underbrush, accompanied by a sharp cracking of branches, and the spell was broken. Chattering shrilly in alarm and excitement, the squirrel ran up the trunk of the tree, and the whiskey jacks flew off. Now, onto the trail, on all fours, scampered a half-grown bear cub. Round, furry ears pricked and small, deep-set eyes alight with curiosity in the sharp little face as he beheld the old dog. There was a grunting, snuffling sound in the bush behind the cub. His mother was investigating a rotten tree stump. The cub stood for a moment and then hesitantly advanced toward the rut where the terrier lay. He sniffed around, wrinkling his facile nose at the unfamiliar smell, then reached out a long, curved black paw and tapped the white head. For a moment, the mists of unconsciousness cleared and the old dog opened his eyes, aware of danger. The cub sprang back in alarm and watched from a safe distance. Seeing that there was no further movement, he loped back and cuffed again with his paw, this time harder, and watched for a response. Only enough strength was left in the old dog for a valiant baring of his teeth. He snarled faintly with pain and hatred when his shoulder was raked by the wicked claws of the excited cub, and made an attempt to struggle to his feet. The smell of the drawn blood excited the cub further. He straddled the dog's body and started to play with the long white tail, nibbling at the end like a child with a new toy. But the old dog no longer felt any pain or indignity. He lay as though asleep, his eyes veiled and unseeing, his lips still curled in a snarl. Around the bend in the trail, dragging a large dead partridge by the wing, came the cat. The wing sprang back softly from his mouth as he gazed transfixed at the scene before him. In one split second, a terrible transformation took place. His blue eyes glittered hugely and evilly in the black masked face, and every hair on his wheat-colored body stood upright, so that he appeared twice his real size. Even the chocolate-colored tail puffed up as it switched from side to side. He crouched low on the ground, tensed and ready, and uttered a high, ear-splitting scream. And as the startled cub turned, the cat sprang. He landed on the back of the dark-furred neck, clinging with his monkey-like hind legs while he raked his claws across the cub's eyes. Again and again he raked with terrible talons, hissing and spitting in murderous devilry, until the cub was screaming in pain and fear. Blinded with blood, making ineffectual brushing movements with his paws to dislodge the unseen horror on his back.